Ever found yourself in a situation where you and your partner are talking, but it feels like you're speaking different languages? Oh, the conundrum of communication, the dance of dialogue, the puzzle of partnership. You're not alone if you found yourself in this bewildering boat. Communication is the lifeblood of relationships, but often we find ourselves stumbling over words, misreading signals, or lost in translation. It's like trying to tune into a radio station while only catching static. This, my friends, is what we call the communication gap. Imagine this. You've had a long day at work, your stress levels are soaring, and you want nothing more than some quiet time. You relay this to your partner, expecting understanding. Instead, you are met with frustration, a barrage of questions, or even worse, silence. What went wrong? You both spoke the same language, yet somehow the message got lost in transit. This is a classic example of a communication gap. But why does this happen? The answer is simple yet complex. We're all unique individuals with our own perspectives, emotions, and experiences. When these combine, they create a lens through which we interpret the world. This lens influences how we understand and respond to information, leading to potential misunderstandings. Think about it this way. If you're viewing the world through a blue lens and your partner is looking through a red one, even the simplest message can be perceived differently. That's why the same sentence can mean different things to different people. It's not about who's right or wrong, but about understanding these differences and bridging the communication gap. Clear, open, and empathetic communication is the foundation of any strong relationship. It's not just about expressing your thoughts and feelings, but also about understanding and respecting your partner's perspectives. It's about making your blue and red lenses blend to create a beautiful shade of purple. In the grand scheme of things, a communication gap isn't a sign of a doomed relationship. Rather, it's an opportunity for growth, understanding, and connection. It's a chance to learn more about each other and strengthen your bond. Understanding and addressing this communication gap is the first step towards a healthier relationship. So, let's dive deeper and explore how we can bridge this gap, shall we? Communication isn't just about talking. It's also about listening. Imagine a world where we all just talked and no one bothered to listen. Not very appealing, right? That's because listening is an integral part of communication, and it plays a crucial role in maintaining healthy relationships. So let's delve a little deeper into the art of listening. Active listening is not simply about hearing the words someone is saying, but understanding the emotions and intentions behind them. It's about acknowledging the other person's perspective, even if it differs from your own. But how do we become better listeners? Here are some tips. Firstly, show empathy. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. By doing so, you're not just hearing their words, but feeling their emotion. It's like a bridge that connects two people, making the conversation more meaningful and effective. Secondly, avoid interruptions. It's easy to fall into the trap of interrupting, especially when we're eager to express our thoughts. But remember, when you interrupt, you're sending a message that your voice is more important. Instead, allow the other person to finish their thought. It shows respect and gives you a better understanding of their viewpoint. Thirdly, provide feedback. Feedback is a powerful tool that can validate what the other person is saying. It can be something as simple as a nod, a smile, or a verbal affirmation like, "I understand," or "I see your point." This lets the other person know that you're engaged in the conversation and value their thoughts. And lastly, remember to practice patience. Listening is a skill that requires time and patience to master. It's not about rushing to respond, but taking the time to truly understand. Remember, listening is not about waiting for your turn to speak, but understanding what the other person is saying. So next time you find yourself in a conversation, take a moment to really listen. You might be surprised at what you discover. Did you know that a significant part of our communication is nonverbal? That's right. It's not just about the words you say, but how you say them and what your body is doing while you're speaking. First, let's talk about body language. This includes everything from your posture to your gestures, and it can say a lot about your feelings and intentions. For instance, if you're leaning in towards someone, it shows that you're engaged and interested. If you're crossing your arms, it might suggest that you're closed off or defensive. Paying attention to your body language and making conscious efforts to exhibit positive signals can make a world of difference in your interactions. Next, we have the tone of voice. It's not just what you say, but how you say it that matters. Your tone can convey a multitude of emotions and attitudes, from anger and frustration to happiness and affection. If you're not careful, your tone can contradict your words, causing confusion or misunderstanding. To improve your tone, practice speaking in a calm and clear manner, especially during disagreements or emotionally charged conversations. Last but not least, let's explore facial expressions. Our faces can be incredibly expressive, conveying a wide array of emotions without uttering a single word. A smile can show happiness or approval, a frown can indicate displeasure or concern, and a raised eyebrow can denote surprise or skepticism. Being aware of your facial expressions and ensuring they align with your words and tone can help prevent miscommunications. So, how can we improve our nonverbal communication? It starts with awareness. Pay attention to your own body language, tone, and facial expressions, and observe those of others. Practice maintaining eye contact, using positive body language, and controlling your tone of voice. Remember, nonverbal communication is a two-way street. It's not just about how you express yourself, but also about how you interpret the nonverbal cues of others. Mastering nonverbal communication can significantly enhance your relationship. So, why not start practicing today? After all, actions do speak louder than words. Now, let's dive into some practical techniques to improve communication in your relationship. Firstly, let's talk about the power of I statements. This technique is an effective way to express your feelings without blaming or criticizing the other person. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try saying, "I feel unheard when I'm talking about my day." By focusing on your feelings, you can avoid making the other person defensive and open up a more constructive dialogue. Now, on to our next technique, practicing patience. Patience is a virtue, especially in communication. It's easy to rush into a response, especially when you're feeling emotional. But taking a moment to breathe, to really think about what you want to say, can change the course of a conversation. So next time you're in the heat of the moment, remember to pause, breathe, and respond with patience. Our third technique is asking open-ended questions. These are questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. They encourage the other person to open up, share their thoughts and feelings, and engage in a deeper conversation. Instead of asking, "So, did you have a good day?" try asking, "What was the highlight of your day?" This not only shows that you're interested in their experiences, but it also encourages a more detailed response. Lastly, remember that effective communication isn't just about talking. It's also about listening. Even as you're practicing these techniques, make sure you're giving the other person space to express themselves. Listen with empathy and understanding, and show them that their words matter. Having effective communication in a relationship doesn't mean you'll never have conflicts or disagreements. It means you'll have the tools to navigate those moments in a healthy, constructive way. So, practice these techniques and see how they can transform your conversations. These techniques can make a world of difference in your communication. So what have we learned today? We've journeyed through the labyrinth of communication, unraveling its complexities and highlighting its significance in fostering healthy relationships. As we've seen, communication isn't just about talking. It's a multifaceted process that requires conscious effort and understanding. First, we delved into the communication gap, that invisible chasm that can silently drive a wedge between individuals. It's crucial to recognize and address this gap. Remember, the first step towards bridging any divide is acknowledging its existence. So take a moment, reflect, and identify those silent gaps that might be hindering your relationships. Next, we explored the art of listening, a skill often overshadowed by the act of speaking. The power of a listening ear can't be overemphasized. It's not just about hearing words, it's about understanding the unsaid, the emotions, the feelings that words carry. So, the next time you're engaged in a conversation, pause, listen, and let the other person know they're heard and valued. Our journey then led us to the realm of nonverbal communication. We realized that sometimes words fall short, and it's our actions, our body language, our gestures that do the talking. So, cultivate your awareness of these silent signals, because often a look, a touch, or a gesture can communicate more than 1,000 words. Finally, we discussed practical techniques to improve communication. From being clear and concise to being open-minded and respectful, these techniques aren't just about enhancing your conversational skills, they're about forging stronger, healthier relationships. In essence, effective communication is a beautiful dance between talking and listening, between expressing and understanding, between words and silence. It's a skill that, once mastered, can transform your relationships, making them more fulfilling, more meaningful. Remember, effective communication is a skill that can be learned and improved. Start applying these tips today and watch your relationships thrive.